What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is my new favorite one. I mean, other than r/today I fudged up, but no one seems to like that. r/TalesOfNeckBeards. Good stuff.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.
Alright, today is just one story because it's a really long one. Neckbeard harasses my D&D character and thinks we've been dating for 2 years. Just a disclaimer, a lot of the story takes place in a tabletop role-playing game, so when I'm describing things that our characters are doing rather than things we are doing in real life, I'll be speaking in third person and using our characters' names to avoid confusion. I think it's important to differentiate because role-playing a rude, oblivious, problematic character is very different from actually being one, but I think it also adds a lot to the story, so I'm not gonna leave it out. This story is also hella long, but I had 2 years worth of story that I had to condense, and I did my best to only tell the most relevant stuff. Sorry. This whole story started about 2 years ago. Me and a group of friends started playing a tabletop RPG. I'd hate to call it D&D because it's really not. We use a lot of aspects from a lot of different RPGs, so it's really a homebrew game that closely resembles D&D. We wrote all of our campaigns that we played ourselves, but none of us were great at the Dungeon Master role. Enter our Neckbeard. I'll call him Carl! I didn't really know Carl that well at the time. He seemed nice enough. He was obviously lonely and didn't have many friends to the point that he actually offered to pay people to hang out with him. We had a few of the same interests, and I was always drawn to people who seemed like they needed someone there for them. Plus, he said he was a great dungeon master, so after consulting the rest of the party, he became our default. Things started out fine. I got a bit of a creepy vibe from him solely because this dude was hella tall and skinny. Taller than me by like 1 foot and 2 inches, and anytime he talked to me, he would stand way too close to me and lean over me so that his head was directly over mine. It really weirded me out, but whatever, everyone's got a weird quirk. The rest of the party started to get uncomfortable when they realized he was pretty heavily flirting with me in and out of character. I didn't really realize or think anything of it because I tend to hate myself a lot and don't really see why people would flirt with me. Looking back on it, now it seems pretty obvious. He would have every NPC drawn to my character automatically. He would obviously fudge rolls in battle to hurt me less or completely ignore my character entirely, despite being the closest to the enemy. Out of game, he would talk about how it was nice to have a cute girl that liked the same cartoons and anime as him, and would text me late at night to come over because he was lonely and wanted to watch TV with someone. Things started getting worse when my brother tried his hand at dungeon mastering. Carl was excited to actually get to play a character, and my brother was excited to share the campaign he wrote. Now, I know the first rule of tabletop is to never get too attached to one of your characters, but I have an obsessive personality, and that rule was quickly lost on me. Her name's Zell, and I've used her for so many campaigns, it's not even funny. I'm incredibly attached to her, and due to her being in so many campaigns, she has a very fleshed out story. She's a half-elf chaotic neutral rogue. Trust me, this is all gonna be important. That steals everything she can. The thing that makes her not such a pain in the ass for our party is that she really only steals to make a lost family member proud and values others' moral code and the respect and trust of her party more than material things. Basically, if you based her on her character archetype, she'd act very differently than she actually does. His character was a human chaotic good paladin named Kingsley, which if you know D&D, you know those two characters are opposites. Another important thing is that half-breeds were heavily discriminated against in this homebrew world, especially by humans. The thing is, he didn't behave like a chaotic good character. He would always steal and pickpocket for no reason. He would pick fights and do shifty stuff at all times, and he always did it where Zell could see. Since Zell likes people that stick to their own moral code, she instantly disliked Kingsley and grew to hate him more and more as it went on. Then, one campaign, when our party was resting by the campfire one night, Kingsley confessed his love for Zell and that he'd been trying to impress her this whole time. Like I said, Zell absolutely hated this guy, and this confession made her hate him more, so when he asked her, "Do you think you could ever feel the same way towards me, Zell?" she rejected him saying, and I quote, "Nah," and refused to talk more about it. After that, Carl came up to me and asked why my character wouldn't love his, and I told him because he never stayed true to his moral compass. Now, he didn't just stop there. After I told him Zell didn't love him, he started putting his own narration in on their relationship. We'd be exploring a dark cave and he'd say something like, "I protectively put my arm around Zell and she leans into my touch." Like I said, I'm very protective over her character and didn't like this guy going against what he knows she would do. I'd say something like, "No, she actually pushes you away and tells you not to touch her again." He would jump in front of attacks that were being aimed at me and purposefully stand in front of me during every battle. At this point, it wasn't just trying to control my character's actions, it was actively taking my enjoyment of the game away from me. So I had the dungeon master talk to him about all his advances and got him to stop. He pouted for a while, but eventually left it alone, until a few sessions later. After one session, we were all talking about other campaigns we were involved in, and I mentioned that in my other campaign, Zell was catching feelings for my friend's character that wasn't in this party yet. They had a strong bond as friends and partners, and I was planning on bringing it up next session. Carl got really quiet and just left without saying anything else. Fast forward a few sessions, and my friend that Zell is catching feelings for joins this party. Carl immediately hates this guy, hates his character and him in real life for no real reason. Kingsley had been treating Zell bad ever since she rejected him, but it amped up once my other friend joins the party. He started forcing her into bad positions during battle, tried to frame her for stealing, and would actually threaten harm on her every time they disagreed. He started calling me and my friend's character slurs for half-breeds, him being a half-orc, instead of our names. He literally wouldn't call my character by her name. One of our party members would say something like, "Oh, why don't you ask Zell about that?" And he'd say, "Who? Oh, you mean the mutt?" Other lovely nicknames used included mongrel, halfy, half bad, half good, halfway, not enough, and scumbreed. How charming, right? You can pass most of that off as roleplay even if it was a little mean-spirited, but then he actually tried and came close to killing my friend's character the same session he joined because he looked at him funny. Zell stopped it, but my friend was rightfully pissed and didn't play with us again. Honestly, this group lost interest in tabletop slowly over the next few months, including Carl, and only a few of us, including myself, still play to this day. But that's not where the story ends. Mine and Carl's relationship got better after we stopped playing tabletop together, but we still never really got close. I could talk to him when I saw him and text him every now and then, and things were chill. Then our friend group decided to go to a nearby con. Now, like I said, this dude is so tall and skinny, and he's also paler than a ghost. So naturally, our nickname for him was Slenderman. He absolutely hated this nickname. He didn't mind us calling him that when it was just our group, but when we were with anyone else, he would get pissed if he called him that. We would make jokes about him cosplaying as Slenderman a lot, and he would always say he would never. Then I made the decision to cosplay as a female maskie to this con. Don't judge me, I stand by the fact that Marble Hornets is one of the greatest internet series and augmented reality games ever made. For those of you who don't know, Maskie is a proxy for Slenderman. He is under his control and does any and all of his bidding. Basically, he's a slave to Slenderman. After I told Carl this, he was all for cosplaying Slenderman and even bought a white morph suit before something came up and he couldn't go to the con. He would also offer to pay me money to forgive him anytime we had a mild disagreement about something instead of just talking things out with me. It happens like 10 or 11 times and I wouldn't even actually be mad about whatever we were talking about. One time we were talking about this comic book and he really liked this one character that I really hated. So we were discussing it and he started to get heated about how I should like this character. So I just said something along the lines of, "Forget it, I don't want to talk about this with you." He spent an hour asking over and over again if I was mad at him about it. Each time I told him I wasn't, and the last time he asked, I said no, but I was gonna get mad if he kept asking. After that, he tried to hand me $10 and tell me he was sorry and to please be his friend again. I cannot stress enough that I never even raised my voice. Now, yes, all of these stories are weird, creepy, and neckbeard-y, but I wouldn't be writing all this down if it didn't have a big finish. So about 3 months ago was Carl's little brother's graduation, and me and my brother were invited. I've met Carl's mom, and she's actually really sweet, but I had never met his dad before. I went up to go and meet his dad, and we talked for a few minutes, and that was the end of it. The day after the party, I get a text from one of the other members of our tabletop party who is pretty close to Carl, and I guess talks to his dad quite a bit. He texted me saying, "Hey, did you and Carl start dating?" I said, "No, why do you ask?" There was a long pause and he finally messaged back, "Well, then you should really know that he told his dad you were his girlfriend last night." I was pissed. I called Carl, but he didn't answer and instead hit me with a "can't talk right now, what's up?" text. Whatever, I didn't mind doing this over text. "Why did your friend just text me saying that you told your dad we were dating?" No reply, so I text again. "Carl, why did your friend just text me that you told your dad we were dating?" "Are we not?" "You're joking, right? Carl, you've got to be joking. We've never once been on a date, nor have you ever asked me on one. Not that it would have mattered because I don't like you like that. Why would you tell your dad the day that I met him that I'm your girlfriend?" "I'm really sorry. I'm just confused. What do you mean you don't like me like that? I really thought we had something. If not a relationship, then at least a mutual interest or tension or something." "Carl, if you thought that, why wouldn't you have asked me about it?" Again, no answer, so I ask, "Okay, so if you really thought we were in a relationship, then when was our first date?" Long pause, then his answer. "Well, I kind of thought our sessions with Zell and Kingsley started things off." "Carl, please tell me you're lying." "I'm not. Kingsley had feelings for Zell because I had feelings for you." "That was 2 years ago, Carl! You've been thinking we were dating for 2 years? You thought that all that time you spent harassing, belittling, and yelling racial slurs at my character and actively trying to murder other characters that I liked in-game was the start of our 2-year-long relationship? You've been my friend for a while and I care about you, but this is ridiculous! You belittling my character back then after rejecting you in a game showed you didn't respect me! You offered to pay me money to forgive you every time we disagree instead of talking things out showed you didn't respect me! And now you doing this and telling your dad we're dating when you have never once asked me about it shows you really don't respect me! I have no idea how you ever thought this was okay! I mean, yeah, I said some ugly things in that game, but it's just because my character was angry at you for rejecting him, and I was just trying to stay in character. I thought we connected in this special way, and I just had a different idea than you. We just have a lot in common, and I think we should give us a try." "I'm not dumb, Carl. I know that wasn't you just staying in character. That was you being mad at me for rejecting your character. But I don't care about that anymore. It was a stupid game that we played 2 years ago, and haven't even talked about it since. Look, I'm sorry you're so confused about this. I don't know how you're confused about it, but I'm really sorry that you have the wrong idea. So I'm gonna lay this all out for you. I don't like you. I don't know what you're thinking of us having something special is. Us liking a lot of the same thing isn't a special connection. Conversation about the latest Miraculous Ladybug episode or Red Hood and the Outlaws issues aren't gonna carry a relationship. I'm sure this is embarrassing for you because it is for me too. But if you want, we can still be friends and work through this. But you've gotta tell your dad the truth first. Okay? Come on, man, at least act like an adult. I just don't get it. We have so much in common. That's literally the beginning of a good relationship. But you're still saying that that's not a reason to be interested in each other? But I can see you're not into this, so it's fine. I'll fix it. I said it wasn't a reason to think we had something special. You and I wouldn't work because I don't like you as anything more than a friend. I'm sorry, but that's never gonna change. Okay, I'll tell my dad. Thanks. Mind you, this man is 22 at this point. We're both grown-ass adults. That was the end of the conversation, and honestly, the end of me and Carl. I still see him and hang out because we're in the same friend group still, but we don't text and we don't really talk even when we're together anymore. The few times we do talk about the things we mutually like, and it's only a few sentences long. I can tell he's still mad at me when we talk, but honestly, I don't care. I'm just glad I can enjoy tabletop without him now. Well, I don't have much to say other than that guy needs to get out more or something. I don't know how you fix that kind of social ineptitude. Is that a word? Ineptitude? Ineptness? I don't know. I don't care. Like, come on, dude. 2 years in a relationship and no kissy kiss? No huggy hug? No schwicky schwick? Come on. Oh man, he needs to... Ow.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.